8:23 on Thursday's Newstalk Breakfast, 9th of May. Oisin Langan is here with all the sports news. Who have you got?
Well, we'll start with the fact that Phil Neville, Neil Lennon, Roberto Martinez and Rafa Benitez are all being linked to the soon-to-be vacant Everton job this morning. David Moyes may be announced as Alex Ferguson's replacement at Old Trafford as soon as this morning, or as soon as this afternoon anyway, having led the Toffees since 2002. The 50-year-old Scot was famously passed over for the job as assistant manager at Old Trafford in 1999 as Ferguson thought he was too intense. Everton's consistency under Moyes has been credible. They remain on course for a 7th successive top 8 finish. Now that's not bad considering the budget that is at that club. Former Manchester United player and MUTV pundit Paddy Crerand joins us now. Paddy, first up, I suppose, is there still a lot of shock around the club and City of Manchester and surrounding areas given that Alex Ferguson stepped down yesterday?
I think more disappointment than anything, Oisin. I mean, I think there's got to be a day when he's got to retire. Came a little bit sooner than most people thought. But me personally, in actual fact, I thought they'll have another go at the European Cup and maybe after that. But it came as a surprise to everybody, the existence of it. But the thing about David Moyes, this is something that's been going on for some time. It's not the likes of Alex Ferguson has decided to quit. We're now going to look for a manager. United have known this for maybe the last 2 or 3 months that was going to happen.
They knew for 2 or 3 months that Alex Ferguson was going to walk away. Yes,
that's not something that happened overnight.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. They don't do things like that at Manchester. They'll look ahead and, well, they'd have a good idea in actual fact. They would know with the board of directors and people like that would know exactly what was going on. And Alex would have a big input in who would be the next manager. And I think David Moyes is much like Alex to a great degree. I mean, he's been at Liverpool, or rather Everton, for 11 years now, and what he's done in a small budget has been absolutely fantastic. I know it's a big task, Manchester United, after the success that Alex has had, but I think he's quite capable of doing it all right.
Was it something that the board really kept to themselves? Because yesterday many people, including yourself, were quite passionate in insisting that Ferguson was going to stay, and it really caught people by surprise.
Right, well, it caught me totally by surprise, because I was asked by quite a few people after there was hints that he was going to retire, and I said no, because I just thought in my mind, well, he's going to try for the European Champions Cup again after the disappointment of the Real Madrid game. I thought, yeah, he'll give that one more go. Maybe he's going to have an operation, and maybe that help to change his mind, because Alex has always said that his health would be the most important thing that would make the decision on whether he carried on at Manchester United or not. But the great thing about it, he's going to stay on at Manchester United, and some people might not agree, but I think it's a great thing. If you're David Moyes, you come to Manchester United, there might be a little problem somewhere along the way. Who can I speak to? Nobody better than Alex Ferguson. He'll be around there somewhere. I'm sure Alex won't be interfering. Matt Busby didn't interfere in any way whatsoever. I was at Manchester United at the period of time that Matt was made different people managers, and everybody thought, Matt Busby's interfering, which wasn't true in any way whatsoever. But
was his presence alone unfair on other managers, even if he actively didn't interfere, which I'm sure Alex Ferguson won't want to do?
Sorry?
Was his presence alone at the club something that was distracting?
I think it all depends on the stature of the person that's taking over the job as manager. Because, yes, a lot of people did think Matt's stature, but I think Matt's stature was used as well by certain people that couldn't do the job, and all will point the finger at Matt. That'll be my excuse or our excuse for not being able to do that particular job. I spoke to Alex Ferguson about this quite some time ago. I said to him, Alex, you ever quit to Manchester United, you'll be a big problem for people, because people will point the finger. We spoke about Matt there and what happened at that period of time, and he was adamant, Alex, that he's not, which he won't do. He won't interfere with anybody. If he's asked advice, yes, and I think it's fantastic that you've got a man of his experience, that if you have a problem, why not go and speak to him? Because Alex Ferguson certainly did it with Matt Busby.
Do you think there is the potential of that to happen again, that Matt Busby stepped away and seemingly good appointments were made, but it just never really happened until Alex Ferguson came in. Now, David Moyes is coming in with a very good record, but still that worry would exist.
Well, you know the strange thing? Ron Atkinson had a wonderful period of time when he took Manchester United to the top of the league and played wonderful football, and then Brian Robson got injured and it all fell apart. That looked as if it could have happened at that period of time. But when Alex came in, there was all this talk about, in the media here at that particular time, about there's a situation that where Alex Ferguson might be in trouble because things aren't going as well as they should be going. But what the club realised at that time was the work that Alex Ferguson was doing underneath. The minute Alex Ferguson came to Old Trafford, he appointed Brian Kidd and Nobby Stiles, and their job was to get all the kids around the Greater Manchester area and for wherever else they could go. Because the Greater Manchester area is a great place for football, for kids. Well, they'd done that. So the club looked in the fact that they were bringing in a load of kids, and they gave them loads of time because of that. From what I gather, speaking to Martin Edwards, even in those days, there was never any chance of Alex getting the sack because they realised the good work he was doing underneath, and it blossomed.
Okay.
When the great statement, you'll never win anything with kids, because believe me, Oisin, I was at Villa Park that day, and I came out the ground at the end of the game after United lost 3-1 and said, not along with Alan Hansen, but at the same time, very difficult to win anything with kids. The following year they won the double.
That's absolutely
correct.
So
that was the thing where Alex started at the bottom with the kids, and he's been doing that ever since.
Wayne Rooney being linked with a move again this morning. Manchester United say he's not for sale. We're hearing sources say that Alex Ferguson refused a request from Rooney 2 weeks ago. Do you think there's any truth in that? Do you think he might be moving on? Do you think the fact that he's had a strained relationship?
You'll always, Oisin, get plenty of speculation. You'll always get plenty of speculation. If you go back to the time that when he left Everton, there was supposed to be a lot of bad blood between him and David Moyes. But that's been resolved since. That's been resolved. But that can happen in football. You know yourself, if you're working with 20 or 30 guys every day, you're going to fall out with the manager somewhere along the way, or have a disagreement with him somewhere along the way. But that's all been resolved and all that sort of thing. David Moyes looks, well, it's not 100% certain, but it's 99 and 9/10. David Moyes is going to come into Manchester United, and David Moyes will be the one that will do whatever's needed to be done with Wayne Rooney, with any player at Old Trafford. Because if you remember when Alex Ferguson came, Alex Ferguson took nothing from MD. He was the manager and that was it. And I'm sure Alex will allow David Moyes to do the exact same thing.
Okay, Paddy Crerand, thanks for joining us on Newstalk Breakfast. Paddy Crerand there, formerly of Manchester United and of course current MU TV pundit.